Welcome back, Hive Mind. This is Shalazar with Hive Mind Gaming, coming at you with another Raid Shadow Legends takeover. Today we've got Armypaul 86. Has me taking over his account. The first thing he wants me to do is go ahead and pull some shards for him. So we're just going to go ahead and pull those shards. He's currently looking for just anything non-dupe and hopefully really good. So let's get a 10 pull here. Oh, first thing! Septimus! Oh, Lich and Melga, who's really good as well. Oh, the new Life Taker. Cool art. But Cupidus, first pull. Don't know if that's a dupe, but we'll check it out in just a moment. Alright, let's pull the next 7. Super excited here. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Alright. Cupidus is actually pretty solid hitter if built correctly. He's very good in 3v3 and arena. He can be good in. Alright, let's see. And the last ancient shard. Alright, so let's go down to the voids. First void. Come on, Necrat. Nope. Alright, last void. Alright, who did we have the option? Oh yeah, okay, those. Yeah, so that would be... Deacon would be a really good addition to this account. Oh, nice! Tauragi the Frog. Oh, he's so good. He'll help with the clan boss. So that's one of the things that we're actually here to do a takeover on, is his clan boss team. So that is going to be a pretty good addition to his clan boss roster. So we'll have to take a look and see if that might be someone to look at. And then let's see. This next one is, oh, nice! Rector! Dude, she is so good. Both of those are so good. Holy crap. All right, let's check out. As soon as Raid Polarium stops trying to sell me something. Let's see. So we got 4 epics. 3 of them really good. And a Lego. I don't see. Looks like all 4 of those epics are unique epics. And and the Lego is unique as well. So that's a pretty good solid pull. So yeah, I mean, really good, solid. So Cupidus is a pretty solid champ. He's for the Sacred Order. He attacks all enemies on his A1. Damage increases by 15% if the target has any debuffs. And his A2 is attacks 3 times at random. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing an HP burnt debuff for 2 turns. So, and that books up to 75% chance. And then his A3 places a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns, then attacks 1 enemy. Has a 50% chance of placing an HP burn debuff on all enemies for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. This debuff cannot be resisted. So that's really good. That's a really good ability. but you have to kill. But he hits pretty darn hard. Hits pretty darn hard. And then his passive is attacks inflict 25% more damage to targets under debuffs. But that only works if Venus is in the group. So he does not have Venus, so that is not an option here. And then he's got an attack aura for all battles at 33%. So he's a pretty solid champ. He hits hard though. That's the thing. That single target ability hits pretty hard. All right, and then of course Rector. Oh my God, she's so good, man. So good. Attacks one enemy, has a 35% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. Her A3 is heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. So you could boost her HP up like crazy and makes it even bigger. After healing, places a perfect veil buff for 2 turns on all allies with full HP. Places a 15% continuous heal buff for 1 turn instead on all allies if they were less than 100%. So, I mean, just really good. Revives a single ally with 60% HP and fills their turn meter by 60%. Places a perfect veil buff on them for 3 turns. That's big, man. And then her passive is whenever an ally under a veil or perfect veil buff gets a turn, it heals them by 10% of their max HP. Also increases the resistance of allies under veil and perfect veil buffs by 50%. That's huge, especially in Doom Tower. Especially in Doom Tower. If you're having a hard time getting to those resistant numbers, that's a good way of helping you get there. And then she has a resist aura in Doom Tower battles by 55%. Melga, also a beautiful champ for Doom Tower and other places. She just likes to read a lot, apparently. A lot. She attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of removing a random debuff from a random ally. Cannot remove a debuff from this champion. And she's HP based, which is good. There's no debuff that reduces HP other than just damage. Let's see. Her A2 is places a shield buff on all allies equal to 20% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. Also places a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. Really good, guys. Really good. Revives 2 random allies with 20% HP and 20% turn meter. Also places a shield buff on the revived allies for 2 turns equal to 30% of their max HP. So she's just a good champ. Increases ally HP in all battles by 15%. And then last but not least, we have Tauragi the Frog. His A1 attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns, and it is based on HP. This is obviously good for Clan Boss, because being able to use your A1 to place a decreased attack or decreased defense or any of those debuffs that you want on the Clan Boss is really good. All right, his A2 attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing a provoked debuff for 1 turn. The chance increases by 5% for each debuff on the enemy team. This will not work against the Clan Boss, so hopefully that does not work in it when he's on auto. And then his A2 places a shield buff equal to 15% of this champion's max HP and 50% ally protect buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Also heals this champion by 25% of their max HP and places a 30% reflect damage buff on them for 3 turns. The heal increases by 2.5% for each poison debuff on the enemy team. I mean, huge for Clan Boss, obviously. And then his passive, when attacked, has a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff on the attacker for 2 turns, occurs once per hit. So good. So good. And then his aura is a resist aura in all battles by 40%. So, I mean, just some great champs, man. Some solid champs. Now that we've got all those fat loots, let's take a look at the rest of his account. Now, he wants me to take a look at his clan boss team. He wants to be able to hit Ultra Nightmare. For fun, I went ahead and ran a key just to see how much damage we could do. And it was about 5 million before the refit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to look through his stuff and see what changes we can make. Maybe even tweak some other champions as well along the way, and see what we could do, and just give a basic overview of his account. So let's get into it. So currently he's running Altan, Frozen Banshee, Skull Crusher, Rosin, and I think it is Stalwart. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what we could possibly do to get his numbers back up and running. Just looking at his account, with Rosin at 92 accuracy, Altan at 108. Well, he's good to go. She's good to go. So 2 out of 5 isn't bad. The biggest issue I think here is going to be accuracy. I mean, that's the big thing. He doesn't have the unkillable comp, so we're gonna have to go with an old school composition. So one thing we got to do is get everybody's speeds up. We've got to get everybody's accuracy up, and I mean, it looks like we're good on defense. Like, everybody's defense is where it should be for. Yeah, defense is good around across the table. So we're good on defense when it comes to Ultra Nightmare boss. Accuracy we're lacking on, and speed big time, lacking big time on speed. So what I'm going to do, and also the other thing that we need to work on is crit rate. Our crit rate there's not horrible, but it's not great either. And crit rate on all of our damage dealers are definitely bad. So we need to work on that's a problem with clan boss. It's very gear intensive, artifact intensive. We have to have the proper gear to deck out our guys, because we're working with so many different stats that we've got to work with. The one for speed. We want our speed of around 190. We want our speed, or at least over 176, I think it is. We want our defense around 3,000. We want our crit rate, obviously, the closest to 100 as we can. And we want our accuracy over 200. So if we can get those, if we can get that over, you know, the accuracy, crit rate, and speed and defense, then everything else should fall in line. Yes, we still want our attack champs to have a higher crit damage and a higher attack, but those aren't the most important. Survivability is going to be more important. Being able to land those debuffs is more important. So there's just a lot of stuff we've got to work on. So what I'll do is I'll get in here, take a look at their masteries, take a look at their skills, see what we need to do to get these numbers up for the clan boss, and I'll come back. All right. So the main thing about this account that I've noticed, we've got a lot of flat stat gear. And And guys, before you go nuts about it, it's okay. It's really okay. He's I mean, it's really is a fairly new account. He's probably mid-game. He's probably a mid-game player. So he's right at that spot where he can start transitioning the flat stat gear to percentage gear. So in the beginning, flat stat gear is okay because it's just as good as percentage gear, because percentage gear is based off of the total amount. Well, in early game, your total amount's not that high, so the percentage gear doesn't give you as much as it will at in-game level gear. So before you blast this guy, keep that in mind, that it's okay to have flat stat gear early to mid-game. It's when you start getting into later mid-game and in-game is when you need to start transitioning to percentage gear. The other thing is, pay attention to what type of damage your champion is doing. For instance, all of his attacks are based off of attack, but all of his attacks are based off of defense. And the reason that's important, because if you have stats, obviously I already went through and fixed all these, but if you have stats that are like, instead of defense here you had attack, then that's not going to help your champion at all, because your attack stat on a champion that does defense damage does nothing for you. So this is the weapon is absolutely useless to HP damage and defense damage champions, other than the substats. The substats are the only thing that help you with the weapon. But unfortunately, until they come up with the ability to do HP, attack, and defense weapons, this is what we've got to work with. All right, so keep that in mind when you're building your equipment. The other thing is, you want to have as close to 100% crit rate on your champions as you possibly can. You're not always going to be able to do that because of your gear. That's okay. Just get as close as you can. Having high crit damage does not help if you can't ever crit, because it doesn't. You can have 1,000 crit damage, won't matter if you never crit the guy. So, because you'll never get that extra damage unless you crit. So get your crit damage or crit rate as high as you possibly can, to 100, as close to 100 as you possibly can, and then worry about your crit damage. The other thing we want to worry about is our defense. Our defense, we want to get to about 2,500 or more. Obviously, this is a defense champion, so we want his to be obviously higher. For speed, if you want to go before the clan boss, you need to have it 191 or higher. So keep that in mind. When it comes to debuffs, if you want to land a debuff, you need to be anywhere from 200 accuracy to about 250 accuracy. That's basically your sweet spot. So keep that in mind. If you've got to land the debuffs, this is how you do it. So you've got to land that stuff. Don't be afraid to use accuracy chess pieces, especially if you don't have the silver to level your banner up to 16. It's okay to throw on an accuracy chess piece for now until you get better gear. It's all about the evolution of your champions and your team. You want to put the best gear that you have at this moment on your champions. You got to prioritize what's most important. Is my clan boss most important? All my best gear goes on all my clan boss champions. If arena's most important, all my best gear goes on my arena champions first, and then it trickles down. So you got to put your priorities of what you want to concentrate on. Put your best gear there and constantly evolve that gear. As you get better gear, as you level up other gear, things like that, then that's when you just switch gear out. It's a constant evolution of switching gear out, which is why it absolutely blows that it costs so much silver to exchange gear. Absolutely blows because of that. So that's something you've got to, especially on a low spend account, you really got to pay attention to your gear. Your gear is the absolute most important thing when it comes to building your teams for the different things you're doing within this game. So that's the most important thing that we're looking at here, is as we start getting better gear, we get gear with more accuracy. We can level our banner up to 16. We can get rid of this chest and add a defense chest. And then, or vice versa, you could keep the chest piece and get rid of this banner and add a defense banner. It just really depends on how you want to do it. So any kind of damage dealer should have crit damage amulet and crit rate gloves or crit damage gloves, one or the other. If you can get crit rate in all your other gear and substats, then your gloves should be crit damage. But if he's a damage dealer, if it's a damage dealer champion, it needs to have crit rate or crit damage. I can't think of a single reason to have attack percent gloves. I mean, I'm sure other people will figure out a way, but I can't think of any other reason. Because if I have crit rate in all my other locations, then I'm using crit damage, period. Because I'm gonna raise my crit damage up as high as I can get it. That's just the way it's gonna be. I mean I realize there's a fine balance between your attack stat and your crit damage, but that's where I'm gonna get the majority of my crit damage is from gloves and amulet. So I don't know. If you can think of a reason to have attack percentage, let me know. But that's the only maybe I can the only thing I could think of that would make me want to do attack percent is if it's a legendary artifact with a 4 roll speed and I'm putting it on one of my speed leads. That's the only reason I can see using an attack percent. The only reason. Rosin here is a fine example of just gear, having issues with gear. Currently we have an HP banner on his chest piece because he has 0 amulets for the lizardmen that have crit damage. So this is something that can be fixed later. He can swap it out. That's why I didn't level up the amulet very high, because I don't want it to be any higher than that for Rosin. I mean, it might work out better for someone else later on, but for Rosin, as of right now, that's all it needs. And the same goes for the banner. We have to use a accuracy chest piece because he has no accuracy banners for the lizardmen. So that's basically where we're at for Rosin's banner and amulet. Hey man, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Eventually you keep farming and you'll get that gear. So, and that's what you have to do. You have to constantly work with the tools that you have. All right, so it looks like we've got a magic clan boss. So let's give it a try here. So we're gonna go with Altan in the lead, so that gives us 33% defense, and we'll put Rosin second and him third, since they're positive affinity. So let's see what we can do here. So our speeds aren't high enough right now to go before the clan boss. So that's one thing we'll have to do once we actually get better gears. We'll have to work on getting our speeds up so that we can go before the clan boss. Alright, so basically what I'm doing here is I'm just manualing it for a little bit here. Now, he was doing about 5 million, so we're going to try to do at least better than that, because we've got different gear on. We've got correct gear on when it comes to what we should be doing, damage we should be doing. I'm just going to go ahead and hit auto on this. So already we're in turn 17. We're already higher than what we normally do, which is the 5 million mark. So we're well on our way to getting to the right place. Once he actually gets better gear, see, that's the only problem right there, is as soon as you lose someone, I mean, the run is pretty much over, because unfortunately we have no rezzers in the group other than Altan, but Altan has to kill someone to res, so, and he's just not going to do it when it comes to the clan boss, obviously. So, I mean, we got up 3.8 million damage, more than we had before. And all we did is tweak the gear a little bit. So that just goes to show that gear is highly, highly important when it comes to this game. I mean, period. So just keep that in mind. Constantly grind gear, guys. I know that they have a fusion every single month. If you don't think you can make the fusion, you should be using all your energy grinding gear. Because, I mean, it's what's going to make or break your teams. All right, so for Rosin, we have him in lifesteal gear for his gloves. We got crit rate, we have accuracy chest piece, speed boots, we have defense ring, we have HP amulet, because it's the best amulet we had that had defense on it, with the most defense on it. And then we've got a defense banner. And again, it's because we don't have an accuracy banner or crit damage or defense amulet for that matter. All right, and this is what we've got for his masteries. Again, when it comes to masteries, always do what's best for your team. Each team's going to be different, so there could be differences in your masteries versus these masteries. So, I mean, use it as a guide. Don't use it as a, this is how it's supposed to be. Next, we've got a Longbeard. These are his masteries. Again, I didn't actually put these masteries in. I'm not sure what he was doing here. I mean, if you have Mossbeard, this is a good build because, well, I mean, it's a build for someone like Mossbeard. But yeah, I'm not sure what the idea there was, but so we have him in lifesteal gear with speed gear. We've got crit rate gloves, attack chest piece, speed boots. We've got HP banner, crit damage amulet, and HP ring. Next, we have Altan. Again, we have lifesteal with speed. We have crit rate gloves, accuracy, speed, accuracy, crit damage, and defense. And for the masteries, pretty similar to everyone else's. And then we've got Skull Crusher. So these are his masteries. I think he uses Skull Crusher in other locations. That's why this is built that way. And then we've got lifesteal with speed gear yet again. Crit rate, defense, speed, And then defense, banner, HP, again, because we don't have a crit damage amulet, and attack. Now, the only reason why this is attack, because we don't have a defense ring, and this ring gave the most defense for a ring. So, again, it has to do with what's available to us. And then last but not least, we've got Frozen Banshee, who has accuracy and lifesteal. We've got crit rate, defense, speed, and then accuracy, crit damage, defense. And then for her masteries are pretty similar to everyone else's. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure that one, but okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. If there's anything else you guys want to see, let me know in the comments. But other than that, that's it for this video. If you liked what you've seen and you want to see more, hit the like button and join the Hive by hitting the subscribe button. And we'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye.